The Pittsburgh Penguins, who are on the hunt for a new head coach, may already have their main man in Mike Johnston. I'm Antonieta Collins with your ESPN headline. Let's bring in ESPN hockey writer Scott Burnside. Scott, Johnston has been an assistant for the LA Kings, the Vancouver Canucks, but he's never been a head coach in the NHL. Why do the Penguins believe he is the right fit for the team?
Well, I mean, as you know, it's been a tumultuous offseason for the Penguins, firing GM Ray Shero shortly after the playoffs ended. They blew a 3-1 series lead against the New York Rangers, and then a number of weeks later firing head coach Dan Bilesma after new GM Jim Rutherford came on the scene. So, and there have been a couple of other candidates the Penguins were looking at, Willie Desjardins, who ended up in Vancouver as a head coach, and Bill Peters, who's in Carolina as a head coach. But I think Mike Johnston fits this bill because he is, as you note, a guy who has NHL experience as an assistant, but he's also had tremendous success at the major junior level in Portland, plays a very up-tempo style, and I think this is going to be sort of an interesting voice behind the bench. He is a guy that will have to get more out of the Penguins' top players, especially playoff time, but I think they like the mix of what he's accomplished at the junior level, plus the fact that he does have NHL experience as an assistant. And it's going to be interesting to see how he fits in Pittsburgh.
What do you think will be his top priorities?
Well, it's an interesting time for the Penguins. 5 straight seasons they've lost in the playoffs to teams that have been lower seeds. After winning the Stanley Cup in 2009, with the team as talented as they are, with Sidney Crosby coming off a second Hart Trophy season, Evgeny Malkin, another world-class player. The Penguins have not achieved what their roster suggests they should. So I think the biggest priority for Mike Johnston and his coaching staff, which will also include longtime NHLer and briefly a head coach, Rick Tocchet, he will join the staff as well. They have to find a way to elevate the Penguins' level of play come playoff time. They have been a perennial top regular season team. They've had home ice advantage in the playoffs, and yet when it has come time to win the big game, often at home in the playoffs, they haven't been able to do that. And so, Mike Johnston and Rick Tocchet and whoever rounds out that staff, they're going to have to find a way to get the Penguins to play, quote unquote, a higher level of playoff hockey come springtime. And I think that is, the bar is set very high in Pittsburgh. It's they have to go deep into the playoffs. That roster demands it. The fan base demands it. And now we'll see if this new coaching staff can deliver it.
ESPN hockey writer Scott Burnside with the insight. For more on this story, make sure to read about it right here on ESPN.com. I'm Antonieta Collins with your ESPN headline.